Hello. We are here in beautiful Don Juan anchorage, Porto Don Juan I think it's called, which is just on the outside of the Bay of LA, and it is a hurricane hole. We all came down with COVID this week, so we have been doing a whole lot of nothing. Tomorrow and the next day it's forecast like high 30s, winds out of the west. Not a hurricane, but we thought it was a good opportunity to come and check out Don Juan and get a little more familiar with it, just in case there is a hurricane in the next month. This is where we would come. So it's good to know it, and this was a good opportunity to come. So we mustered up some energy and we sailed here today. I didn't film it because I really not feeling so great. Luckily our COVID symptoms have been very, very minor, but we are very exhausted. Yeah, I think there's quite a few boats rolling in here today, and quite a few of those boats are sick. So we're all just kind of sitting on our own boats and staying away from each other. But our little floating community still moves together, which is kind of fun. We're hopeful we're gonna get feeling better here in the next couple days and be able to go to the village and provision, maybe move back to La Gringa because we really liked it there. The whale sharks and all that jazz is pretty cool too. We basically had a daily whale shark show in La Gringa. Don Juan is actually beautiful. I don't know why I expected a hurricane hole to be kind of a hole.
It is nice in here. It's just one of those landlocked places that I'm buggered. I think it's just one of those landlocked places we were concerned that there wouldn't be any breeze blowing through here. But it's funny because there's a slot right in front of us, so the wind's just coming across there and it's quite pleasant. Big hill behind us that should protect us from the westerlies later.
I'm Kate, and this is my husband Mick. Our kids, Thomas and Bentley. 5 years ago, we had this crazy idea to travel the world with our kids, and never did we imagine our mode of transportation would be a sailboat. These are my parents. It's been their lifelong dream to sail across oceans. And so together, a dream was born. Come along with us as we learn, laugh,
I play with boats.
and explore. And hey, don't forget to hit subscribe.
G'day. You see me?
Mm-hmm.
I just had my first rain shower in Mexico. There is a chubasco right over our head right now. Actually, you know what? I think it right on the tail end of it. Chubasco is you call it a cabatic type wind or storm. Heat from the land creates those puffy anvil type clouds, and then throughout the evening it's moved from the mainland of Mexico, being the east side of the Sea of Cortez, and it's worked its way across the whole sea throughout the night, and it's just dumped on us. I'd say we've probably got
30 knots of wind,
and probably 30,
lightning.
30, 35 knots of wind easily.
This spot's amazing.
It is. So one of the things you really got to be concerned about with high winds when you're at an anchorage is the sea state, and the boat constantly pitching and diving and all that jarring can really put some strain on your anchor. But in here it's so flat and the boat is hardly moving, but the wind is flying through, so we are in a really good position. I'm just up here at the helm. I've got the key in the ignition just in case. There's only one boat in front of us that we have to worry about dragging. But I think that's the worst of it. Some of the lightning was very close. I think
there was one flash that felt like it was in the cockpit.
Yeah.
It blinded me.
That's what woke me up, to be honest, before the winds even hit us.
What were you saying, Tommy?
I thought it was cool.
That was kind of cool. are finally coming out of our COVID stupor. We are so desperate for groceries. It's been about 2 weeks.
2 weeks isn't that long to not have groceries, but we really didn't like get a lot because it's so close. But we keep going past it, we just don't stop. So we've
been kind of sick, so we couldn't stop. And we had planned to come like a week ago, but then we got sick. So anyway, it's all good. We survived. You can always, it's amazing what meals you can make when you have to, out of nothing. So we are in the little village of Bahia, Los Angeles. And we're gonna go to the little tienda. And this village here, this is our hometown. What is it, Tommy?
Obsidian arrowheads.
That's so cool. Oh my. A gray whale? Gray? Did you like the museum?
Yeah.
That was really cool. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hot are we?
10.
It is hot. It's not bad.
Inside the museum, it was like 20.
Yeah. Oh, it was a 20. We found air conditioning and Wi-Fi.
It's pleasant in here.
I'm cooling down. That glorious machine. Woohoo! Good morning. We've made a last-minute decision to leave the Bay of LA and head up to the tippy top of a very large island to an anchorage called Refugio. Refugio, I think is how you say it in Spanish. We've got our friends on that cat, and we have about 40 nautical miles to go, and it's midday almost. It's like 11 a.m. So it could be a long day. Hopefully the wind stays with us and we get there before nightfall. We shall see.
Let's see, we're doing 6 now.
What did you say?
Oh, I'm just checking the wind.
How fast are we going?
6.
6 knots. Got all our sails up. Flying along.
Yeah, the wind just died right here.
9, so 9 plus 6, 15 knots of
15
wind.
knots. And did I just hear on the radio that our buddies ahead of us are in a dead patch?
Yeah, I'm honestly tempted to motor through just with how late we left and
Yeah.
how far we have to go. We'll see how we go when we get up there, I guess. Things change so fast that maybe by the time we're there, we'll have more than them. We will see.
So normally when we have 40 nautical miles to travel, we leave very early in the morning, but this was kind of a last minute decision. Originally we were planning to go to an anchorage right here, like we'd be there now. 3 nautical miles just outside of the Bay of LA. But now we're traveling 40 and we really have left late. So we are hauling. We're going 5-6 knots, kind of average so far. Are we slow? Oh, we slowed down to 3. I was getting a report. So if we slow down too much, we'll turn on the engine because otherwise we're going to get there at like 9 o'clock at night. We have a very fancy lunch happening here of chorizo sausage and craft dinner, mac and cheese for you Americans. Provisions are a little limited up here. There is a great grocery store in Bay of LA, a little tienda. The problem is all the produce is refrigerated, and unless you have enough refrigeration on board to keep it refrigerated, it goes very fast. So things that you don't normally need to refrigerate, apples, bananas, pineapples, those kinds of things, because they refrigerate them, as soon as you don't refrigerate them, they go bad so fast. So we are struggling a little bit with produce. We just went grocery shopping, but our fruit net is already empty and I had to throw out a bunch of it because the next day it went rotten. And unfortunately we just don't have enough fridge space to keep everything in the fridge.
Meraki, looks like you guys are moving along pretty good.
Yeah, we just popped the motor on for a few minutes to get out from this volcano, but looks like the wind's back, so we might switch her up.
The wind is being weird.
Yeah, I think we're going to try and head pretty much dead north for a bit. Once we're around this little rock, it looks like out on the east side of the island, the big one, there's some good wind blowing up there towards Simplicity, so I think we're going to try and aim for that direction.
Got a little wing on wing action going, and we're, what are we going, 6 knots? Yeah, 5.5, 6 knots. Sea state's super calm. We're traveling with 3 other boats. Of course, we're at the back of the pack. Our sails just aren't as big as everyone else's. I think our boat is really well set up for crossing the Pacific, but this coastal cruising, it would be nice to have like a giant Genoa. But we still do pretty good. We did have a giant Genoa, and the previous owner of our boat said, don't bring that. That's not for sailing around the world. That's for coastal cruising. Now we've spent 1.5 years we will have spent 1.5 years in Mexico doing coastal cruising. The Genoa we have is also Hank-on, and to tack, because we're a cutter, he actually had to like walk it around that inner forestay. Anywho, we're slow and we don't really care is the point of that story. We'll kick ass crossing the Pacific. It's been a really nice sail. What are you working on?
Comics.
Comics? You write your own comic. That is awesome.
Are you ready for my new trick?
Yeah, what's your new trick?
My new trick is to get a 3rd sail up while we're wing on wing. There's a big gap in between the main and the Yankee that we've got poled out, and I'm going to try and raise the stay sail. I'm going to unhank it from the inner stay, hook it on up front, and then just free fly it. Here goes nothing. Could be a bit messy for a second. I've still got the sail tied. I'll undo that. I think stay sails are usually built a little stronger than what like Genoas or jibs are. Material's really stiff, the luff line is wire, so I can really crank on that and stretch it out a bit, and I think it's going to hurt it, but it's full. I'll tighten it a bit and then I'll play with the sheet. I don't know how fast we're going now. Feels pretty good. Benefit of unhanking it is just to get it out in clean air, because when it's hanked on here and the wind's coming kind of from behind us, the mainsail blocks it a bit, but just getting the foot out that little bit further fills it.
Let's check our speed. How fast are we going, guys? 6 knots! Woo! What time is our arrival time now?
Animal crackers! 5.2, so there's 3 hours to go.
Woo! Super crazy from right here. All 3 of them. They look pretty happy.
Good.
It's been a mighty beautiful sail. We are heading just over there around that's the north end of Isla Angel de la Guardia. And the anchorage is on the north side of that. So we're almost there. We've been sailing along Guardia, however, whatever. We've been sailing along this island the entire day, and it is so beautiful. There are rocks that are green, blue, purple, golds, browns. It's really an amazing island. We're gonna have to jibe here soon to get around, so we're still flying wing on wing. We'll probably get that sail on the other side and get around the top of the island soon.
It's a bit tight, isn't it? I think we have about, what do you call that, 150 feet either side of us, port and starboard, some rock cliffs. Oh, we are in 60 feet of water, so it seems safe. There's not a lot of current running through. Still a bit sketchy though, isn't it?
Good morning, we made it to Refugio Cove. We had a really hot night last night. It was like one of the hotter nights we've had. It's 7:30 in the morning and we're already swimming, aren't we, Bentley? The Bay of LA is pretty special. It really is cooler, especially that little La Gringa anchorage.
What?
But I'm sure we will find some fun things to do.
First on the list was to visit the sea lion colony, who occupy a small island just north of our anchorage. The playful and curious sea lions did not disappoint, and we were fortunate to visit them late enough in the year that the breeding season had come to an end and it was once again safer to check out their territory. Cautiously, we observed them from our dinghy before hopping into the water and carefully watching our surroundings. Surprisingly, even the massive bulls came close enough to have a good look at us, but they never made us feel too nervous. A very cool experience.
It's like we get the tiniest little bit of a different breeze across the sea, and it's just a slight coolness. I wouldn't even call it that. It's still hot, but just not as hot, and it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been months, weeks, whatever. Months? Of 35 to 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, months. It's been months of 35 degrees to 40 degrees Celsius. I find I am good up to like 36, and anything beyond that starts to get too hot. This is a really beautiful anchorage. There is so many different colors to the dirt and the rocks.
It's really cool.
And
Green and gray and brown.
red and blues and greens. Like, it's really crazy.
Purple.
We had a really fun first day here. We went and swam with the sea lions, and then we swam with turtles. I think I got a shot of the turtle. He might have been a bit far away. Yeah, we'll be here for a couple more days, just kind of exploring. We're a day away from Bay of LA. Going back, like, there aren't a lot of northerly winds right now, and we'll be going south, so that'll be an interesting passage back.
Yeah, we'll be beaten into it a bit, but I'm not too worried.
No.
But this is the last place we're going to be exploring in the sea for a while. Because once we leave here, we're going back to a place we know, waiting for weather after a couple of weeks, and then we'll be going up to haul out.
Kind of wraps up our summer season.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy when we head back down south, back down towards like Puerto Vallarta. It's gonna be cool. Like, I think when we splash, we're gonna be like cold, which is gonna be weird. Experiencing all these anchorages in the cold, because to me they just are desert and hot and barren, and yeah.
And then the wind's blowing from the opposite direction.
It's gonna be really weird. But today was a great day. That was my point of talking right now. It was a really, really nice day. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Another beautiful sunny day in La Gringa. It's actually cooled off a little bit. That's nice. Where'd the boys go? All three boys are in the water cleaning the bottom of the boat. How's it going?
Good.
Great job, buddy.